welcome to my spoiler-free review of the second Commander Keen game, The Earth Explodes. And yeah, this is another review from memory. I will be leaning on a review I wrote more than 20 years ago. Yeah, I have played the game, all the way through, well, I guess only once. Yeah, it's only the later ones that I played more than once. Anyway, yeah. This one, right, and yeah, in case you're more or less new, I'm not going to restate all the things that I said about the first game in this video. So I'm going to talk about the way that this is different from the first one. And yeah, the first one works well as an introduction to the world. This one does the sequel thing of making it, bigger. The first one is about fixing your rocket ship. This one, you manage to fix the ship. You fly back to... Oh, right, just real quick. So the game's for kids, so this video will be safe for kids as well. I'm only spoiling the first game. Can't really talk about the plot of this one without doing so. And I love this game. So not quite as much as some of the later ones, but I do love it. But yeah, you manage to fix the rocket ship by the end of the first one and fly back to Earth, and then you see the Vorticon mothership. They were the ones who tried to keep you from returning to Earth. They realized you're the only one who could stop their evil schemes. And, yeah, now, where the first one was on the planet, which had some enemies and some friendly, beings, here you're on the mothership, and, like, everything, every individual you encounter is, wants you gone. And yeah, the idea is they have these laser cannons called Tantalus rays aimed at eight of the largest cities of Earth. And yeah, over the course of the game, you are intended to destroy these 8 or stop them, from firing. So yeah, the first one, I forget the exact number. I'm not sure it's 8, but the thing where you can see your progress by how many it's parts of your ship. Here you're stopping these laser cannons. So yeah, it works very well as bigger kind of yeah. And yeah, this one adds a few new features. Some, let's see, yeah, and some can be recognized from later games. Moving platforms, for example, which I gotta say really make a difference. I'm really glad that they thought of that. It's so weird playing the first game and not having any moving platforms. And there are these light switches, and let's see, yeah, I'm not gonna say exactly what they do. I'll just say they're extremely helpful. But yeah, in addition to everything that is like aware of you wanting to take you out, the ship is also full of complicated technology powering and running it. Quite a bit of it is lethal to 8-year-old human boys. And yeah, the robots aren't exactly the most forgiving type either, in particular the variety that fly back and forth, occasionally firing 3 quick blasts of energy. And let's see, yeah, the small ones who merely push you, which in and of itself, with such dangerous surroundings, can be enough to kill Keen. They can push you off an edge, either just like a drop or like into something dangerous, not always off an edge. And yeah, they may prove useful at times. Yeah, and the colors are somewhat more gray here than the first one. Not exactly bleak, definitely is still a children's game. And yeah, between the end of the last game and the start of this, Keen has gained a new ray gun, one belonging to an elite warrior of the Vorticon race, which proves to be more powerful than his own from the first game, so he keeps it throughout the entire game. And yeah, now you can finally shoot those pesky wolf-like things which were invincible in the first game. And let's see. Yeah, in case I did not already make it clear, if I'm not commenting on something, it means it's the same as in the first game. And let's see, so the shooting is still annoying the way they handle that, and yeah, there's one particular type of enemy that takes 3 rounds for you to take them down. They can shoot back, and if they hit you just once, you lose a life and have to do the level over. Jumps high and moves fast. Let's see, and I think that more or less covers. Right, yeah. Wikipedia lists this as the most difficult of the trilogy. I would say that's the third one. Yeah, all 3 of these, both of the sequels in this first trilogy of Keen games is more difficult than the ones before it, in my opinion. Yeah, this game does take a little longer to complete than the first one, not to mention more skill and perseverance. And let's see, I think that more or less covers the, yeah, it seems like the rest of this is also, yeah, the, I think, yeah, that is certainly what I had written down in my old review. That isn't just rearranging stuff from the first one. Yeah, it feels silly to, I don't know why I put this limitation on myself, but yeah, here we are. Because today, you can get these games on GOG or Steam. You can't really get them separately from one another if you buy the pack. But then, I mean, sometimes you'll buy a bunch of games in a bundle and you're not going to play all of them. What I'm saying is, if you like the first one, yeah, you will probably like this one as well. And, yeah, I mean, I've never been able to play the Game Boy version of Commander Keen. All the other ones I've enjoyed, even the there's actually some on smartphone, yeah, all of them I've gotten at least some enjoyment out of, which is, I mean, as much as I love a lot of Prince of Persia games, I'm not gonna be telling anyone, oh, you definitely got to play Prince of Persia 3D. Like, nah, you'll live. It's okay. I'm not necessarily unhappy that I played it, but it's not something that I would really recommend to anyone except the most completionists. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is it for this one. This was back when, when this game came out. There were a lot of games where the sequel didn't necessarily change that much. It was kind of, and also, these first 3, like the first one was essentially, I want to say the word is shareware. I don't use these terms much anymore, not as much as I did 20 years ago or more, but yeah. The first one was shareware. Basically, essentially a demo, and then it's like, if you like that one, there's 2 more parts of the trilogy. So yeah, they don't, some of these don't change that much. You see a similar thing in the different chapters of the first 2 Doom games, from what I recall. It's been a long time since I played them, but from what I recall, there's not a huge difference as far as features and such. So there's some things that changed over the course of them, but yeah, I think that might cover it. Yeah, I really think I appreciate, because they didn't have to, but the idea of, the first one's like, oh, you're a 10-year-old boy, you want to save the world, and you're a rocket ship, the Bean and Bacon ship, crashed on Mars, and now you're meeting Martians, and there's robots and ice and all this stuff, you know. There's just a fun way to start, and then, you know, you get this one, and it's like, oh, you're on the ship. Like, this is, you know, because it's more dangerous, but it also gets you closer. You know, in the first one, like, you are fighting the Vorticons, you're just not getting to, you know, it's the introduction to it, you know, and here, yeah, you're right there. They're surrounding you, and you have to make it through and stop them from destroying all these cities. And yeah, it's a very clever, you know, in later games they didn't have this, so certain things changed. I'll just go with that in some of the later ones. But yeah, it also just, it works well. You know, this thing of like telling you, oh, there's this number of things you have to get. There's this, what's the word? You know, this is how close you are to completing it. And yeah, you know, I mean, when you open up the game and you're told you gotta do, you know, this thing 8 times to complete the game, you know, obviously some people are gonna be like, oh, that sounds exhausting. But a lot of us, you know, it's like, oh, that's so cool, you know, and yeah, you know, you have a general idea of how far into it you are, and you know, ideally that means that you're like, oh, there's just this left. I gotta keep playing at least a little bit longer. I gotta see the ending and this sort of thing. And yeah, I mean, sometimes there are some more recent games where they're very reluctant to tell you how close you are to the end, and I think sometimes that works, but other times it just, yeah, it's a really effective device to tell you, you know, you are this close to saving Earth.